Hello everyone. So we have a pretty bad storm on tap for tonight into tomorrow for much of the Northeast. This is the current satellite picture. I'm on AccuWeather.com. You can clearly see you have your upper low that's moving across Lake Huron in northeastern Michigan currently. It's moving to the south and east. Really strong upper level low. It will continue to strengthen as it moves to the south and east. And with this upper low over here, you have winds coming out of the south and west over the Great Lakes, Lake Ontario, Lake Erie. So you're getting enhancement off the lakes here, and there are heavier bands of snow across western New York State and northwestern Pennsylvania currently. So that's something to watch out for. And in general, the moisture on the eastern side of the storm is starting to pick up as well. There are snow squalls all across the northeast. But the main thing I just wanted to show you here was this is where the upper low is, and it will continue to strengthen as it tracks the south and east. And moisture is picking up. If we go to the radar, see here, this is the snow squalls coming off the Great Lakes here. You have more snow down to the south across Kentucky and Indiana. And then you also have snow squalls and snow showers. Well, not really snow showers. This is heavier snow. So these are more like snow squalls picking up because there's gusty winds and whatnot on the eastern side as well. And these will continue to move to the east throughout the rest of today. And basically what's going to happen is as this upper low comes to the south and east and strengthens, that snow will start to become more organized. It'll become a more steady snow. Won't be as scattered as it looks on the radar. Okay, so that's the basic idea there. We are now going to take a look at 500 millibar vorticity map. I'm not using Penn State eWall. I think this is NCEP. This is a lot better. You can see it more clearly. So, in fact, I'm also going to make this a larger screen. There we go. Okay, so this is the latest run of the GFS, the American model. This is your upper low. This was from 7 a.m. this morning, so now the upper low is right over here, sitting over Lake Huron and northeastern Michigan. This will continue to move to the south and east throughout the day. And the other thing we need to pay attention to is notice the tilt of the trough. This is really important. Well, two things are important. Where does the upper low go? And what is the tilt of the trough as it tracks? Right now, it's a positive tilt. It's tilted from southwest to northeast. That is a positively tilted trough, which is good because we want this to come a little bit further south, and it will continue to track to the south and east as long as it is positively tilted. But then when it gets to the coast, we want it to go negative so that moisture gets pulled back to the north and west and you get heavy snow. So here we go. This is this morning. This afternoon, going towards the evening hours. Now we're at 7 p.m. tonight. Hasn't moved too much. Continuing to track to the south and east. And then notice here, by 7 p.m. tonight, the trough is neutral. It's oriented from south to north. Okay, and then as we go throughout the night, here's your upper low. Right over northeastern Pennsylvania, right by Allentown, Harrisburg. And notice how the trough is starting to become negative now, oriented from southeast to northwest. So when this starts to happen, you're going to have snow start to pick up in a line from southwest to southeast to northwest. You'll have that band form. So right now, this is later tonight. Your upper low is going to strengthen as it moves off the coast. Your snows are going to start to pick up across New England, east of the Adirondack Mountains, east of central New York State. That's where your snows will start to pick up. Alright, and pay attention, you have a 504 bar right here. This is just a measure of the strength of the upper low. So the lower it goes, the stronger it is. Now, so here we go. This is Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. There's your next bar, 498. So before we were at 504s, let's go through that again. Sunday morning, we have a 504 bar, so it hasn't really strengthened yet. and Sunday afternoon you get 498. So this is a strengthening upper low right off the coast of Cape Cod, and it will continue to strengthen a little bit as it heads up the coast. Alright, and by Sunday night it is about to go into Nova Scotia. Okay, so now I want to talk about a couple of specific things. Specifically, New York City and Western Long Island. I think right now this is still, it's starting to go negative, but it's still kind of a neutral tilt. This is tonight. But I think this trough goes tilted negative a little bit too late. Now it's negative, see, off of Eastern Long Island. I think this trough goes negative a little too late for New York City, northern New Jersey, western Hudson Valley, any of those areas to get really heavy snow. Also, I don't think it strengthens enough by that time either. For Long Island, though, and southern New England, I think this trough goes negative in time to get your heavier snow. Okay? So that's just something I wanted to point out, and I'm just going to come into play when I go over my accumulation map, because my amounts are lower for New York City, but higher for Long Island. Then the other thing you have to worry about is, as this trough goes negative, your snows, number one, they start to pick up. Number two, they start to come back to the northwest because the trough is oriented from southeast to northwest. And what some of the models are indicating, well, actually all of them are indicating this, is that there's going to be a band of snow that forms somewhere from central and eastern Long Island up to the north and west through central Connecticut, all the way back through central New York State, anywhere from starting from central Long Island, going up through Stamford, through Poughkeepsie, up to Albany, and up to Newburgh and Utica in New York State. That's could be the extent of this band of snow that forms later tonight into Sunday morning. And snowfall amounts in this area here that I'm pointing out with my mouse right now will depend on where that band forms. So the models are deferring on how far west that band is going to form. Is it going to actually get into western Hudson Valley and New York City and come further west into New York State, or is it going to be further east? My thinking is it's more of the eastern part right now. That'll be something to watch. In fact, we can look at that on the surface map. We'll just go right to it. Alright, here it is. Okay, so this is tonight. If you look really closely at your surface map, here's your surface low off the coast of Long Island. And if you look really closely, you can see some darker green working back into New York State, starting from Long Island, going all the way back through central New York State. That is that band of snow that the models are indicating on. The GFS isn't really as potent with it in this new run, but the NAM is. In fact, we can look at that. I just really want to show. Yeah, see, here it is. Now you can clearly see it. It forms, goes through eastern Long Island, then right back through New York State. The NAM is further west with it in this new run, including Nassau County, and further west towards western New York State. The GFS is further east with the band, so this is something to watch. Now, in general, let's take a look at the surface map. I'd rather use the... actually, we'll use the NAM for the surface. At this point, the models are pretty, good with the situation, so there's really not much differences, so it doesn't really matter which model we look at. So here we go. This is by this afternoon. Alright, so there's a difference between the surface low and the upper level low. We are looking at the surface right now. So before I was talking about the upper level low on the 500 millibar vorticity map. That's different than this. This is the area of low pressure at the surface. Okay? So by Sunday this afternoon, your surface low is across Pennsylvania. You have enhancement across western New York State, northwestern Pennsylvania from lake effect snow here. And the leading edge of the snow will continue to move to the east. And I'm going to try to zip through this quickly because this video is already 10 minutes. Moves to the south and east. And then when it gets off the coast, look how it starts to pick up. Look how this snow starts to pick up. You See all that blue there? That precipitation is picking up pretty intensely. Okay, and then some of that is going to make it back to Long Island and New York, so you can see the darker green back up into New York State, and that's where I'm concerned about most of that snow is going to come from for that area. Okay, so then by Sunday morning, your low is here, right off the coast of Cape Cod. This is where it starts to really bomb out. So if you want to look at an example here, at around midnight tonight, your central pressure is 992 millibars. The stronger the low gets, the more the pressure drops. So here we go. And in a period of 6 hours, it drops to 980 millibars. So your precipitation really starts to pick up as this comes to the north and east. By Sunday morning, all the way from the coast of Maine up into central Maine, up in here, all the way back through eastern New England, you are going to be getting really heavy snow and gusty winds. Okay? And the NAM is a little more persistent with the snow in Maine than the American model is. But there's something on the American model that I just wanted to go over really quick. The American model is a little more aggressive with snow across southern New England. And I agree with that because as the low is off the coast of Cape Cod, it's going to start to really strengthen and bomb out. So I think southern New England is going to get really heavy snow. The NAM didn't really show it, the other model I was talking about. But the GFS shows it, and also I think this area here, you can kind of see there's lighter green, there's a break here. All of this is going to be filled in with heavy snow. You have a low that's closing off, and as the low closes off and strengthens, you get precipitation to wrap around it. And that's what's going to happen. So all of this from Nova Scotia down through Maine, down through New Hampshire, down through central Mass to eastern Massachusetts, up to Boston, Cape Cod, Rhode Island, at least central and eastern Connecticut and eastern Long Island. This is all going to be filled in with heavy snow on Sunday morning. Alright, but the worst of the storm happens. See, even now, there was a 976 millibar. That's continuing to strengthen. It's going to be up in Maine and then up into Nova Scotia. Look at this. This is really heavy snow. Okay, so now, let's talk about the accumulation map, finally. Here we go. This is it. Some minor changes from yesterday. We'll go from south to north. So, south of central Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey, down towards Philadelphia, D.C., Baltimore, all of Maryland, all of Delaware, southern Pennsylvania, back towards Virginia, and anywhere back in here, we're going a coating to an inch or two. As the Arctic front south of the low comes through, you're going to get a quick squall line of snow showers, coating to an inch or two through tonight. The mountains of West Virginia could pick up 2 to 4, because higher elevation, so more snow there. Alright, Philadelphia, I think, is like 1 to 3. 1 to 3 inches. Okay? Now, as you get further north, your upper low is going to track kind of in the center of this 2 to 4 range, but as it comes through, the trough goes negative, so you start pulling a little moisture back. So we're going to go 2 to 4 for central and northern New Jersey. 2 to 4 for central Pennsylvania and northern Pennsylvania. So State College is included in that. Pittsburgh is included in that. That's 2 to 4 inches. Allentown, Harrisburg, all of these areas. And then into, that might actually be more. I would bring this 4 to 8 back down to cover all of New York State towards Buffalo and even Erie and Pennsylvania, because you have lake effect snow coming off there. Okay? Moving further to the north. Then we're going to come to the southeast. So you have enhancement from the lakes currently with those bands of snow. So we're going to go 4 to 8. Anywhere from Rochester, Syracuse, Oswego, Ithaca. 4 to 8 inches of snow. Same thing as you go through central New York State here. Now, the reason I have the 4 to 8 all the way over here is because I was talking about as tonight, as that trough goes negative and the low starts to strengthen, that band of snow is going to form. We don't know where, but to be safe, we're going to keep everybody in the 4 to 8. So that's going to be Poughkeepsie, Stamford, Albany, Danbury, Connecticut, Newburgh, New York, Utica, Schenectady. That band could impact any of these areas, as well as central and eastern Long Island. Hartford can be impacted by this band. So that's why everybody here is included in the 4 to 8 inch range. To be specific for New York City and Long Island, because that's where most of my audience is from, the trough does not go negative in time for New York City, 2 to 4 inches for you. I'm hesitant about putting Nassau County in the 4 to 8. I only did it because of the uncertainty with that band. I'm thinking Nassau County is more on the lines of 3 to 5 inches. You know, eastern Nassau could pick up 4 to 5, maybe 6. But once you get into Suffolk County, that's where the 6-inch divider line is going to be, right on the border between Nassau and Suffolk. So most of Suffolk County is going to be 6 to 8 inches. Nichols Road on east is your better chance of picking up 7 to 8 inches, maybe 9 across the Twin Forks. West of Nichols Road, it's going to be more like 6 to 7 inch snowfall. Okay? So, north of there, so we covered the 4 to 8. Oh, and up into northeastern New York State and Vermont, 2 to 4 inches. The heavier snow does not make it to you. Alright, further east, the low starts to close off, so now you start to pick up heavier snow amounts, 8 to 12 inches, northern Maine, down through most of New Hampshire, down through central Massachusetts, Worcester, Springfield. You will be getting 8 to 12 inches down through Connecticut, Providence, 8 to 12 inches for Providence. Hartford is on the dividing line between 8 to 12 and 4 to 8, so I'm going to go with 8 inches for Hartford. Further east, 12 to 18, I'm not sure 18. I don't think it will be 18 across southeastern Massachusetts here. But what I do think is that there could be 12 to 16 inches anywhere from the divider line between Massachusetts and New Hampshire on south. So Boston, 12 to 16. Cape Cod, 12 to 16. Further north, coast of New Hampshire, 12 to 18. When you start getting into Maine, Portland, Augusta, Dover, 12 to 18 inches of snow. Further north, 12 to 18 inches of snow through central Maine up to Nova Scotia. Now, you have 18 to 24 inches here across the northeastern coast of Maine, and that would be Eastport and Calais. Any of those areas could get 18 to 24 inches. Bangor is on the divider line. I'm going to go with around 18 to 20 inches for Bangor, Maine. That is accumulations. Other impacts. Winds. Watch out for very gusty winds. 25 to 35 sustained along the coast, gusts to 50 or 60 miles an hour. Whiteout conditions. Blowing and drifting of snow. Power outages. Further west, winds will be a little bit less, but still very gusty, especially with snow squalls. Watch out for the snow squalls this afternoon and evening. Further south across southern Pennsylvania and the northern mid-Atlantic here. Watch out for those snow squalls. Okay. Timing. I created this last night, so obviously the 7 a.m. already happened. Snow has already made it here. By the time this video is posted, the leading edge of snow will make it through Vermont, western Massachusetts, Connecticut, down to New York City, down through central New Jersey, and all the way down through central Delaware and Maryland, down to Virginia. So that will be by 1 p.m. and by 7 p.m., everybody has been impacted except eastern Maine, and then by midnight, everybody will be covered by snow. Alright. So, we covered everything. Now, really quickly, I just want to talk about behind this. Behind this storm, or even during the storm, we have a really cold air mass moving in. So, temperatures are going to be extremely cold. So, tonight, this is the GFS representation on weatherbell.com. So, this is 10 degrees, 20 degrees, extending all the way back as far south as the Carolinas, 20 degrees all the way down to there. And then you have temperatures approaching 0 for most of the Northeast. This will be tonight, but then by tomorrow, let's see. By tomorrow, take a look at this. You're below 0 for pretty much all of New England and back towards the Great Lakes here. You're near 0 for Long Island, New York City, or along the coast. These are high temperatures, by the way. These are not lows. Cold air extending all the way back down to the Carolinas, Georgia, Mississippi, all the way down to the 20s, all the way down to here. This is ridiculous, this cold air. Now, why is this important? Because our next threat for snow will be coming. I'm just going to... This video is really long, so I'm just going to really quickly go over this. Alright, so here's our surface map from the GFS. Notice you have all this precipitation down here across the southeast, the Gulf states. This is Monday evening. Now, it's going to be really cold, really far south. So I think there's going to be snow across the southeast. Tennessee, the Carolinas, even northern Georgia and northern Mississippi and all of these, Louisiana, all of these areas, northern areas here. There's going to be snow that far south as this next system comes up. Alright, and this is our next threat along the east coast. So see, this is probably going to be snow here up into North Carolina, Virginia. And then the track of this low, is it going to come all the way up? Or is it going to go out? Now, the GFS, if we look at the 500 millibar map. Alright, I'll wait for it to load. Alright, we are on Tuesday night. This is your trough axis. It is not quite negative, which is why I think the GFS is shifting a little bit further to the east. So here's your piece of energy that forms a storm. Right over the southeast. Back to the northwest, this is the trough that's guiding it, and I mean, this is slightly negative, so I still think there's room for this storm to come right up the coast. And if it does that, then we could be talking about another significant snowstorm all the way from the Gulf states, where I'm pointing with my mouse now, straight up through the Carolinas, Virginia, Maryland, eastern West Virginia, eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all the way up through the lower Hudson Valley, Long Island, New York City, all the way up through New England. This would be my threat area for, this will be Tuesday into Wednesday. This is our next threat. This could be another significant snowstorm. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, but let's get through this first storm.